welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Eva Grace and my YouTube channel name is Mind Travel Eva Grace. Yeah, so I'm gonna talk about something a little bit sensitive, and I'm actually not looking for anyone's sympathy, but what I really hope is that some people that were going through this similar situation, they will be able to resonate with me, and I hope also like this video, for some reasons or in one way or the other, that it will help them to know that they are not alone in the situations that they are passing through, and to know that it doesn't really matter what you're going through, that if you just hang in there and then have hope, it's gonna work out in the end. So like I'm gonna be talking about how my past rejection has helped me survive here in India, or has helped me cope with certain situations here in India. So I think let me start with when I came here in India and what actually happened. And of course I know some of my friends will be very shocked, because these are things that I usually like don't talk about, because most of the time I rather be quiet rather than like speak about something, yeah, something like that. Like I deal with stuff most of the time on my own. And so like everything I think I faced here in India that were something like rejection, racism, the feeling of being disvalued or undermined, it wasn't my first time, and it wasn't something that like when it hit me on the spot, like at that moment, of course, like I felt, you know, that feeling of feeling down, or like wanting to, like looking at it in a negative way. But eventually with time, I thank God that I had passed through so much stuff like in the past, and so like I already I can say, like I wouldn't say like I was very stable, but I would say like I was in a very good position to turn around the situation for my good. So I remember the first time I came here in India, it was the end of 2021, when I reached actually at the airport, and I think I was going to visit, I was actually passing through the immigration office, whereby they have to stamp, and I think they were checking also some of the details and my passport and all that stuff. And then I remember standing like out, like so they like told me stand outside the window, and then they were asking questions, and then I had to fill a certain form, and then of course it was a bunch of officers from the immigration office. What I remember is that they were looking at me, and then they are laughing. So of course that was a difficult moment, because when I was actually coming, I was alone, I was on my own. I knew like facing racism and all that, people seeing you different and reacting different, some in a good way, some in a bad way. I knew like all these things, I was gonna face them in one way or the other, or at one point of time or the other. But I felt like that was too early. I mean, it was too early for me to experience that. And okay, I wouldn't really say like I was very sure of what they were talking, because it was a language that I wouldn't understand. And but I think it was inappropriate to know that I'm there, they are looking at me, and then they are talking, and then they are laughing. I felt like I was the center of attention, and I felt so down. I felt it was so difficult, I would say, but I'm just saying that it was. I'm just grateful that this was not my first time. So I remember I cried at the airport. I actually cried, and I cried, and I felt so bad about it. And of course you can tell that I'm really dark-skinned person. So like there was, at that very moment of time, there was a series of questions that were going on in my mind. Is it because I'm black? Is it because I'm this and that? I started questioning my like who I am, my identity, my body shape and all that. You know, like when people are laughing at you and you're trying to ask like, what's wrong with me? Is it my color? Is it the way I talk? Is it my hair? Is it like you question almost everything about yourself? So because like back in Tanzania, I've experienced so much of these, even from my fellow Africans. So it wasn't so shocking. Like it was at that very moment. And I cried, of course, I remember. But after I left that place, after I left that area, like it was gone. Like I didn't dwell in it, and it hit me. Yes, I knew. And I cried, and then I was like, it's fine. After all, I was expecting this. I know like I will receive different reactions from different people because of how I look, because of my difference in color and all that stuff. And then I remember after I had arrived to school, and there was this moment of time, and we are supposed like to go out. I think I was going to do some kind of shopping in town, and so it was after class. I'm in a rickshaw, and so like this rickshaw, in between like they sit 4 people, and then as I go to sit, wow, I should laugh actually. So when I come to sit, like these people literally move away. So for me, what I understood is that they didn't want to sit with me. It's because I'm black. That's the definition they gave me, because they all went at the back and then some sat in front. Like no one wanted to sit with me. Of course, it was so bad. It was irritating. It was something that I felt like I started asking myself questions like, is it my fault that I was born black? Is it my fault that I was born in Africa? Definitely not. So because I'm a Christian and I believe in God, I believe that I was born in Africa for a reason. I was born in Africa for a purpose, and I'm proud to be African. But you know, like when these things come when you don't expect them, like it real hurts your emotions. It brings you so down to feel like you're nothing, you know, like you don't matter and stuff like that. So I remember the other incident was this time, and I remember I still in first year. We enter in class. It was it was one of my African friend and I. As we come to sit, it was like this seat had so many chairs. So you just choose a spot where you want to sit, and others can sit maybe next to you, something like that. So as we come to sit, there were a bunch of boys. So as we just come to put our bags there to sit, they literally walk away from us. You know, like, oh my gosh, I don't know. It's so funny how people view Africans as if they're nothing, as if they're I don't know, rubbish, or they're I don't know. I don't want to name every other thing that people really term us as. But what I learned is that it was very much important of who I believed I was, who I believe I am, and how I value myself, and how I love myself. Because, you know, I've learned with life experience that when you expect others to love you more than you love yourself, that's a lie. Because if you don't love yourself enough, you will always question yourself. You will always want to match up to what people expect you to be. So, for example, like in Africa, most of the guys, like the community, like values light-skinned girls. And as you can see, like my skin tone, I'm dark skinned. So usually, like even when you're passing and there are even certain kind of memes that will describe you, you know, all that kind of thing. But I learned that being black was enough for me, and I said, well, for whatever reasons, I will never change my skin color. Of course, like there are a bunch of girls in my country who are just tired being a center of attention, who are tired being spotted on for being black, and what they do in the end, they try to bleach their skin because they feel that they are not enough in the skin tone, they are not enough with their body size. You know, there is a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure because people want you to be exactly who they want you to be. But what I've learned is that the people that see you today as black, there are others who want to see you in a different skin tone. People see you who is today being athletic, being petite. Others will want to see you fat. You know, they want you to be full figured and all that thing. That's literally not possible. Like, you cannot be everything people expect you to be. So in the end, I learned to be content with myself. I learned to love myself enough. I learned to be enough for myself. I was like, if I want to be in this way, if I want to be skinny, if I want to be, this should be for me, but not just to please someone, because you can never please people enough. You know, you can never please people enough. Even being here in India, I have met people who have literally done things to want to make me look like I don't deserve to be here, I deserve to go back to my country. But I've met a bunch of several other loving souls who are so welcoming with open arms, who love me for who I am, with my black skin, with me being skinny and all this. It's like the moment you agree with yourself, the moment you accept yourself for who you are, that's enough. What others are trying to view you of is literally not important. So there was this time, I remember in class here in India, there was this teacher, and then she asks a question. As she asks a question, actually I'm someone who I don't like answering questions in class. I don't know, I just love being quiet. And as she asked questions, and we are tired. I mean, we are quiet. Some of us are quiet, and others can answer. And I remember what she came up saying. I know some are dumb, some are literally like not smart enough to answer all the questions. Of course, I understand, like, we have different IQs, but I feel like that was the wrong statement to use, because I remember the next thing I asked her a question, and it was a few of us seated on that bench, and as she comes to answer the question, now she's actually, I'm doing anesthesia, and I've majored in nursing. So I would say, I will frankly say that I'm not competent enough in laboratory techniques and all that. So as she was teaching, I asked that question, and as she comes to answer, I remember she goes ahead, like, asks a question, and then as we are thinking, I said, like, you need to be smart enough, and I was like, what? You know, like, she put it in a way that I was so dumb, not able to answer that question, and I was like, I'm trying to figure this out. Like, you know, like when you're doing something additional to your course, this is the same thing for me, and I'm like, I can study this and I can master, because this small thing does not really qualify you to tell me as a dumb person. You know, I just don't want to put this open, but I have passed off I have passed my nursing classes. I have passed my first year, second year with my first class GPA. So, like, who are you to come and tell me like I'm dumb? And this takes me back to one time back in Tanzania, in my secondary school. We are given to write, like, we were given a topic, and then you're supposed to write something like an essay, or to come out with something written, and then you transform it into a physical activity, like into a sport. Actually, it was to be in the sport. And then I remember I came up with a certain sport. It was like you're like in a swimming pool, and then you make like a foam, like it becomes like a ball. So you have to swim so fast enough for you to get to a certain point before that foam bursts. So, like, the speed, someone being speed, that was a very good qualification for someone being able to pass or to be selected as a winner. Then I remember as I come out speaking, giving out or narrating, I don't know, or explaining what my sport was about, this teacher was like, like he told me to be dumb and that I was not creative, and and my score was like nothing. Of course, I'm laughing. Why? Because when that came out, of course, I started questioning myself, like, am I this stupid? I started thinking of where I've come from and how I've been trying to improve myself, to make sure like I do things that are improving my skills, improving my creativity. So I thank God that I never dwelt on that statement, because I remember from then henceforth I tried to do lots of creative things. I made sure that was not an end for me, and I have actually managed to co-author 3 different books. I think one was Trials of Senses, and then 2 other which are like in the publishing process. And then I have actually written another poem for myself. So I want to say that I don't know what you may be actually going through. There are so many other things that I have not spoken about, but I hope like maybe with time I can also record this. But what I want to say is that do not accept people trying to bring you down. Like, be smart enough to value yourself, because you alone know how much you can go. You alone know how good you are at things, because when people look at you, they don't know how good you are. They don't know all the abilities that you have. Some of us are so quiet, like we don't usually talk a lot, but we know like how far we can go. So sometimes, like, even though you don't publicly speak of your skills, publicly tell of how smart you are, but there are things that you can do. But then we are already in a society that is trying to format you in a way that it wants to see you. They are trying to put a certain image of you, and because you are someone who somewhere you're not, maybe you are under that pressure of wanting to please each and everyone, of trying to run with where the world is going, trying to fit in that image that the world has put for you. That's where we fail, and we end up depressed. We end up failing in life because we are trying to please each and everyone. But I feel like if you realize your goals, if you realize what you want, and then based on your skills, based on your hobbies, based on your excellence in certain activities, I believe that you're gonna win. So yeah, I'm gonna end this video saying that do not let people bring you down. It doesn't really matter who they are, because people don't really know you well. They only know a certain part of you that you decide to show. But there is always, I believe that there is always a great excellence within each and everyone. It's just up to us developing ourselves in certain areas and making sure that we make the best of ourselves. So I wish you all the best with whatsoever you're going through, but I would say, like, hang in there and be positive. Like, change each and every negative situation that is coming, every kind of rejection, people trying to blame you for being of a skin tone you are, people trying to question you being full figured, people trying to question you being fat. Try to use that as a motivation to go further in life. I wish you all the best and see you in the next one. Bye. Don't forget to like, to share, to